Hello, everybody. It's Glenda again with Fralins and Friends Crafts Plus. And I hope you're ready for the story tonight. Oh, heavens. We're going to finish up this last part of the story around Jesus' birth. And I mentioned before, but if you haven't been here, I didn't put the part about the Magi or the wise men in with the nativity. Okay, I'm recording this part over, so we don't have the Magi there at the same time because they are not spoken of at the same time. I'm going to dress King Herod in red, the color of blood, and I'm doing that for a reason. If you're not familiar with this story, you'll find out when I tell you. It's in Matthew chapter 2 that we hear about the Magi. And it was after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea. During the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who was born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." When the king heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem, in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler, which will shepherd my people Israel." Okay, so from this we know that King Herod did not really feel kindly toward Jesus because he was troubled when he heard this. Now, a lot of other people were troubled too. And the explanation for them being troubled probably was similar to his. They were under the rulership. They were under the rule of Rome at this time. And Herod, he had this kind of cushy position as the king of the Jews, kind of being tolerated by Rome. He wasn't really given a whole lot of authority. He could go to Rome and tell them things he wanted to do, things about the people of Jerusalem, but he did not really have kindness in his heart toward this new baby king of the Jews. So that's why he's blood red, or his clothing is, because he's a bloody king. And that'll come up again later. So now I'm going to put something between Herod and, well, not only the wise men, but baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph. And that is going to be an angel. Because an angel, well, okay, it's a barrier. The angel, putting the angel here, not because of the story so much. I mean, there wasn't an angel involved, there was a dream involved, but because this angel this message came between Herod and his bloodthirsty intentions for the baby. And so that is why I am doing this angel in this spot. It isn't a biblical thing that the angel was right there. It's just that I'm doing that to show you that that angel's guarding baby Jesus. That God is getting in between Herod's will and God's will. I'm trying to put a halo on this gold, this metallic gold. It must have little flecks of gold foil or something in it, because you have to kind of dab it on because it doesn't brush. It really doesn't brush well. The paint will separate. And anyway, okay, now we're getting to, I'm going to go back and read what the scripture. Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so I too may go and worship him." Now we know Herod has no intention of worshiping Jesus. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. And note here, it does not say that the child was in a stable. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, it says here it was a house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. So I'm putting baby Jesus in a more cradle instead of a instead of a manger. So, or at least that's my intent, is that for it to look more like a regular baby's cradle. He's still quite young, though. I do believe that he was still a baby. And, okay, now I'm putting Joseph up there. Those are the face colors I'm using. Okay. From the scripture that I just read, we know that they are following the star, which I will put in later. They are following the star, but they follow it to a house in Bethlehem. And I'm putting those, that's the face color that I put up there. You see that little dot up there? That's where Joseph's going to be. And the Magi, it says that they saw Mary and the baby Jesus, but I'm putting Joseph in there too. I don't know. It seems to complete the story more for me. But no matter whether he was there at the time or not, or when they visited, it still wouldn't mean that Jesus was any less holy. That's for my sake. Okay, so I give him quite a beard here. But from what I just read from scripture, we know that they did follow the star. And so the star would have been out in the evening. It would have been out at night. And it's a very distinct star. And so they went and followed it to a house. And so I believe they probably were still in Bethlehem. It doesn't say that it doesn't say specifically that it was Bethlehem when I read this short passage, but there's no indication that they were anywhere else. Now, I do know that on the 8th day, when he was 8 days old, they did go to Jerusalem because Jewish law required that male children be circumcised on the 8th day. So, but I'm still because Herod was in Jerusalem. And if that star had been over Jerusalem, so I don't think Jesus was very old at all. I think he was still a very young infant. But I would think by then, and that's just from what I'm reading about, they found him in a house. It doesn't say anything about a manger or a stable. Okay, so now I am adding the Magi, and I am dressing them in green so that I'm just trying to make people distinct. And so and they are giving him the gifts that they have brought. And as usual, I'm doing I'm doing whatever I'm doing. Sometimes I paint the head first, and others I paint the body first. So, and I don't paint like a real body. I paint a figure there. That's what I do. I paint a figure. If I were on, like a big canvas, it'd be different. But there's multiple people in here. Anyway, so the one kneeling is bringing gold because it talks about gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So I'm guessing that the gold is the first thing. That's generally the first thing we present in pageants anyway. And so he is kneeling and he is giving the gold. And so I'm going to put a little gold in there. I've stretched his hand out. I don't know how well you can see that. And so I'm going to put just a little bit of that gold. And I'm going to go back to scripture now and read some more from there on this whole instance. Okay, I don't know if I already. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen went when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over a place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, which is kind of a scent, it's a fragrance, it might have been incense even, and myrrh, which is that precious oil they talk about. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. So there is the news that they're getting, not to go back and tell Herod. So, and then something else happened. When they had gone, now this is after the wise men had left, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. "Get up," he said, "take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him." So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night, and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, "Out of Egypt, excuse me, dry mouth. Sorry about that. Okay. When they had gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. Yeah, I'm going over this again. Sorry. Get up, he said, take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you, for Herod is going to search for the child to kill him. So he got up and took the child and his mother during the night and left for Egypt, where they stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, out of Egypt I called my son. When Herod realized that he had been outwitted by the Magi, he was furious, and he gave orders to kill all boys in Bethlehem. He gave orders to kill all boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity who were 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi. Then what was said through the prophet Jeremiah was fulfilled. A voice is heard in Ramah, weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children and refusing to be comforted because they are no more. Okay, Rachel was pretty much the mother of Israel, or one of the mothers of Israel. She was one of Jacob's wives. And so that's what it means when they're talking, because Jacob was renamed by God. He was given the name Israel. And his son, Joseph, if you go back into the Bible studies, you'll find the story of Joseph with the coat of many colors. And his brothers sold him into slavery. And there's a whole story of how they grew up as a nation in slavery in Egypt. But they didn't start out in slavery. They started out with Joseph being very honored because he interpreted the Pharaoh's dream. So there is kind of a love-hate relationship with Egypt. But right now, God sent Joseph and Mary and baby Jesus into Egypt. I'm sorry this went a little over time, but I think the story is important enough to warrant that, and I appreciate you staying with me and hearing it. Thank you. Real quickly, because the battery's about to run out, this is a depiction of the story. I love all of you very much, and if it wasn't for you, there'd be no need for me to be here. And I do love being here. And then give me a thumbs up and share. And I will see you again. I'll probably post Thursday. I love you. Good night.